we'll see every fiat money go to its long-term value of zero. It's demonetizing gold. You see that in the ETF market. People are dumping gold ETFs and buying Bitcoin ETFs. It's demonetizing the stock market. It's demonetizing the bond market. It's demonetizing the property market. It's demonetizing the fine art market. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. So anything you hold as an asset, it's the purchasing power relative to Bitcoin is going to go down.
I know a lot of people are just thinking, okay, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be? One of the reasons Bitcoin's price will continue to go up is because of the opportunities that layer 2 Lightning networks and the convergence with AI is going to create. It's going to be phenomenal.
Max Keiser opens his discussion by revisiting a prediction he made 5 years ago. Contrary to the popular belief then that countries would ban Bitcoin, Keiser foresaw a different scenario. He predicted that countries would not only embrace Bitcoin, but also competitively mine and hoard it. This competition would lead to Bitcoin becoming the new global standard, driving fiat currencies towards their long-term value of zero. According to Keiser, this shift is evident in various markets today. Gold ETF are being dumped in favor of Bitcoin ETF, and similar trends are observed in the stock, bond, property, and fine art markets. Essentially, any asset's value will decline relative to Bitcoin's purchasing power. Keiser points out that this realization is slowly dawning on observers and political figures alike. Interestingly, many politicians are now discussing Bitcoin, though Keiser believes they haven't fully grasped its implications yet. Bitcoin, he argues, will not only disintermediate central banks, but also challenge the very notion of the nation-state. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
And now we're entering into the global hash war or the global Bitcoin war, which I wrote about 5 years ago. When everyone was saying that, oh, all these countries are going to ban Bitcoin, I said, no, in fact, it's the opposite. They're all going to embrace Bitcoin. They're going to competitively mine Bitcoin and hoard Bitcoin because it becomes the new global Bitcoin standard. And we'll see every fiat money go to its long-term value of zero. It's demonetizing gold. You see that in the ETF market. People are dumping gold ETFs and buying Bitcoin ETFs. It's demonetizing the stock market. It's demonetizing the bond market. It's demonetizing the property market. It's demonetizing the fine art market. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. So anything you hold as an asset, it's the purchasing power relative to Bitcoin is going to go down. And so this is the realization that's creeping into the minds of folks who have been observing Bitcoin for a while. The political class is really interesting to see so many politicians up here talking about Bitcoin. They have the talking points and they sound good. I don't think they've given it a deep thought yet because it disintermediates politicians. Because not only will the central banks be disintermediated by Bitcoin, but so will the nation state as we know it. So the nation state will dissolve as well as the central banks. And we'll have a new, and we already see this in El Salvador. President Bukele is already looking to the future of a decentralized governance model that's no longer going along with the 300-year tradition of the central bank model that we were used to. He's decentralizing. People call President Bukele a dictator. No dictator would give his people the ability to own Bitcoin, an unconfiscatable asset that gives you self-sovereignty. That's the opposite of a dictator, right? So, you know, this is what I suggest people who are going to speak English look up a dictionary for the definitions before they open their mouths and say these words because they're incorrectly using them. But come to me and I'll help you. And if in fact you don't take a suggestion, then I'm happy to get more forceful. Well, I think that, you know, Bitcoin is a magic mirror. And if you are of good character, it makes you even a better character. If you're a bad character, it makes you a worse character. If you look at somebody like a Craig Wright, the Bitcoin magic mirror revealed that he's a true scumbag.
Boo!
right? If you're somebody like a Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin Mirror exposed somebody with a high degree of integrity and a passion for education and a deep understanding of Bitcoin. Same thing in the political class. You know, you have a Cynthia Lummis who I think you can say gets it. You know, she's been orange-pilled and she's working hard in politics to make positive things happen. Other people in politics who talk about Bitcoin will find out soon enough whether or not they're just being narcissistic, self-serving assholes or whether they are genuinely hardcore Bitcoiner maximalists. You know, nobody escapes the guillotine. You know, Bitcoin is the new guillotine of the 21st century. All the toffs who are posing and not really worthy of the power that they get, you know, you're gone. Goodbye, have a nice day. You're going to be disintermediated and you're going to zero.
Bitcoin, according to Wood, is not just a technology or a monetary system. It's a new asset class. Its low correlation with traditional assets makes it a valuable addition to investment portfolios, enhancing returns per unit of risk. This has led to a growing recognition of Bitcoin among institutional investors, further solidified by the issuance of Bitcoin ETF.
And I know a lot of people are just thinking, okay, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be? One of the reasons Bitcoin's price will continue to go up is because of the opportunities that Layer 2 Lightning networks and the convergence with AI is going to create. It's going to be phenomenal. Bitcoin is three very big ideas in one. It's a technology, right? But if you think about it, it's leveraging off the internet. It's the layer of the internet that developers didn't put in place in the early 90s because they never dreamed that financial services or commerce would take place on the internet. So it's simply the next generation of the internet. It is a monetary system, the first global, decentralized, private, no government oversight, no throat to choke, digital, rules-based, that's extremely important, monetary system in history. So there's tech, there's economics, and then the third thing, and this we brought to light with the ETF issuance, is it is a new asset class, and every asset manager, retail or institutional, has to consider putting a new asset class in their clients' portfolios. Why? Because of the low correlation of returns. What that means, you slot some Bitcoin in, and your return per unit of risk goes up. And every institution knows that, and so they have a responsibility to understand what Bitcoin is and what kind of investment opportunity it will represent for their clients. So I think that ETF issuance has really helped cement this story and is beginning to generate deeper understanding more broadly in the investment world.
She expresses his political stance, stating his support for Donald Trump, whom he sees as the best hope for Bitcoin policy in the United States. She draws parallels between Trump's vision and President Bukel's policy of economic liberty in El Salvador. Both leaders, she argues, embrace the Enlightenment ideals of life, liberty, and property, which align with the foundational principles of Bitcoin.
We did vote for Trump, and we will vote for Trump, and I believe that he's the best hope for the United States in terms of Bitcoin policy and the restoration. You know what? And Bitcoin in El Salvador falls under President Bukele's policy of economic liberty. And that is very American in the concept. It's an Enlightenment ideals of life, liberty, and property. And the security situation in El Salvador also falls under those same sort of thinking of the president. So when Trump did misspeak, I'll say he misspoke. And I think he'll probably correct himself here once he shows up and he speaks in front of this audience here, and he'll see that this is President Bukele land here instead of somebody who hasn't yet proven himself in terms of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin in El Salvador is economic liberty, and so was the security policy.
What's going on in AI is amazing. We have been very aggressive in our expectations, And yet we're seeing, and Mark Zuckerberg this week talked about open source models and how this might accelerate many of the trends that AI has already triggered. And so I think what we're going to see is a couple of things. One, and we've learned this from the Lightning Network and some of the developers working on it, in Africa, I don't know if you know roast beef, but he's one of them. We did a brainstorm. We do a Bitcoin brainstorm every month in conjunction with Bitcoin Park. And he was on one of the first of them. So look that up. It's every time I am with the developers or the miners or some part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, my confidence in what is about to happen here increases. Well, roast beef at one of the first two of those brainstorms, sitting in Africa, was saying, this is transforming lives in Africa. It is going to redefine the division of labor. We think we understand the gig economy. Think micro gig economy and think global labor force and piecemealing out these tasks. So he says this is transforming people's lives in Africa. And so I think the payments part of this is critical.
Yes.
And I also think the second part, so division of labor and paying for those micro giga jobs,
yes,
is one example. And then there's the machine to machine. Basically, it's called agentic AI. I will basically direct an LLM to create a marketing program for me and my new company, including a website, a marketing program, articles, promotional materials, and so forth. And the agentic AI will do that from beginning to end when we finally get there. And we're getting there faster than I thought we were going to get there. So how does this happen? How do we pay all of the various entities involved? Lightning Network, Bitcoin, payments ecosystem.
The discussion shifts to the transformative potential of AI and the Lightning Network, particularly in regions like Africa. Wood shares insights from developers who are witnessing firsthand how these technologies are revolutionizing lives. The Lightning Network facilitates microtransactions, enabling a global gig economy where tasks are piecemealed out and paid for seamlessly. This, coupled with agentic AI, which can autonomously execute complex tasks, represents a significant leap forward in how labor and payments are handled. Please like and subscribe my channel.